For thousands of years, the first day of May signaled the end of winter's grip. During the Roman Republic, citizens marked late April and early May with the Floralia, a vibrant festival dedicated to Flora, the goddess of flowers. Further north in Celtic regions, communities observed Beltane. They drove cattle between massive symbolic fires to bless the livestock and protect their food supply before moving them to summer pastures. By the Middle Ages in England, the tradition evolved into bringing in the May. Villagers ventured into the woods to gather wildflowers and wove intricate patterns of ribbons while dancing around a towering maple. At the center of these English festivities sat the May Queen, crowned with blossoms. She served as the living embodiment of youth and the fertile growing season ahead. Across centuries and borders, May 1st functioned as a unified cultural sigh of relief. It was a day to collectively banish the dark, lean months of winter and celebrate the renewal of life. But in the late 19th century, the heavy machinery of the Industrial Revolution ground that idyllic imagery into dust. A new kind of public gathering took over the streets. Factory workers, miners, and laborers began marching, carrying signs demanding world labor unity and fighting for basic human rights in an increasingly mechanized economy. A date originally dedicated to the celebration of life became the global symbol for bloody labor struggles, violent protests, and the fight against economic exploitation. The catalyst for this modern identity erupted in 1886. During a massive strike at Haymarket Square in Chicago, the tension between workers and the state boiled over. Police opened fire on the crowd, and several labor organizers were subsequently executed. The primary demand driving those thousands of striking workers into the streets was specific and quantifiable. They wanted a strictly enforced 8-hour workday. As the labor movement grew, so did the fight to control the narrative. By 1955, Pope Pius XII established the Feast of St. Joseph the Worker specifically on May 1st, a direct ideological countermeasure to blunt the influence of communism over the global labor movement. Police violence, state executions, and institutional decrees redefined May 1st. These events turned the day into a fierce ideological battleground over the actual value of human labor. While the 8-hour workday became law in the West, exploitation didn't disappear. It simply moved. Global corporations shifted their manufacturing to developing nations, seeking out the cheapest possible labor to maintain high profit margins. They also developed new legal mechanisms like zero-hour contracts. These agreements give a person the legal status of an employee, but provide zero guarantee of actual working hours or a stable income. The human cost of these modern loopholes is fatal. In disasters like the Rana Plaza collapse in Bangladesh, thousands of garment workers died precisely because safety standards were ignored to keep production costs artificially low. This reality stands in direct violation of established ethical frameworks. For example, Islamic economic principles strictly mandate that a worker's living standard must match that of their employer. You must feed and clothe a laborer exactly as you do yourself. Furthermore, the same tradition dictates a precise timeline for compensation. An employer is required to pay a laborer their full wages before their sweat dries. Yet, despite clear historical lessons and strict moral guidelines, modern corporate structures consistently bypass basic human rights to maximize their bottom line. To see exactly how this exploitation functions today, we can look at Pakistan's labor market as a primary quantitative case study. This represents the sheer scale of the country's workforce. That massive block equals 82 million active laborers. Watch as the data shifts. An enormous 83% breaks away. These individuals are trapped in the informal economy, operating completely outside legal and regulatory protections. They work in dense industrial environments, on construction sites, and in agriculture, facing hazardous conditions without any state oversight. When an informal economy operates at this massive scale, it functionally neutralizes over a century of hard-won global labor rights. Representation shrinks to a tiny 1% sliver, retaining the right to form a union. Notice this group is highlighted with protections like health insurance and EOBI access. The other 99% are left completely exposed, denied any form of social security. This lack of protection at the individual level connects to broader state failures. As the government attempts to plug budget deficits, critical public services like health and education face aggressive privatization, pushing them further out of reach for the working class. The economic pressure cascades down through generations. Because parents are severely underpaid and unprotected, 30 million children are currently excluded from the school system. While the Western world marks May Day as a victory lap for historical labor rights, the global working class remains trapped in an exploitative winter. For tens of millions, the date stands as a warning about the persistence of modern labor failure.